captain of the Mansfield House Trans Chorus.
Wala, Kunal Rastagi, Adil Sache is absent. Gaurav Sangvi, Sankalp Sangle, Mohit Sevani, Haren Shah is absent. Himanshu Shah, Hamza Syed, Siddhant Sequeira, Dale Seymour, Siddhant Shah,
Ladies and gentlemen, after that marathon handshaking and souvenirs giving, we now have Sankalp Sangle, a student of class 10, who would like to address us. Sankalp.
Good evening to everyone present here. Mr. Freeze, our principal, Mr. Edwin, our headmaster, all our teachers, my fellow batchmates and their parents. Today is a very special day for all of us. Today we bid adieu to our beloved school, the Bishop School Camp, as we finish our school life and step out to take our chance in the outside world. It is said that we never truly realize the value of something until we lose it. The same can be said of one's school years. We were often told by our seniors to enjoy our years in school, as it is the best time of one's life. We never really understood that valuable piece of advice until today. Although the feeling hasn't quite sunk in yet, we are now slowly beginning to realize the experiences and the memories which we are leaving behind. So bear with me while I do a quick recap of all our years in school. Unlike many people here, I don't really remember my first day in school. All I can remember is that the only worries we had during those 2 years in kindergarten were learning spellings and our letters. Back then, being able to count up to 100 was considered a big deal. No homework, no tension at all. Our teachers in kindergarten were the ones who laid down the foundation for our development. They were the ones who taught us to hold a pencil in our hands. They were the ones who consoled us when we cried after having left the secure environment of our homes. They encouraged us to keep trying and never give up until we managed to color within the boundaries of our drawings. And for that, we thank all you teachers. Even while writing our second prelim exams last week, we could hear the little boys of kindergarten enjoying in the corridors of the B.W. Roberts building. And I'm sure that none of us would have declined the chance of being able to swap places with them. Our time spent in the junior school was another valuable experience as well. Being taught the importance of good manners and the right from the wrong was as valuable as anything we have learned in our lives so far. And for that, I would like to thank Mrs. Singh, Ms. Barse, Mrs. Basrai, Mrs. Damle, Mrs. Mendonça, and Mrs. Daniel. Then we crossed the fence and came over to the senior school, where we experienced a major cultural shock. In the junior school, we had things written down on the board for us. In the senior school, we had it dictated. Discipline was the fundamental law of this place. And although it was occasionally violated, we realized that none of the teachers in the senior school were to be trifled with. We were the proverbial new kids on the block, and the shortest ones as well. Almost everyone in the senior school towered over us. Yet credit must go to our 6th standard teachers for helping us to settle down in the senior school with a helping hand and a caring smile. Thank you, Mrs. Daniels, Mrs. Agarwal, Mrs. Gaikwad, Mrs. Piradina, Mrs. Sharma, and Mrs. Suryanarayan. The 7th and the 8th standard were like the building blocks for the class 9 and 10. The growth in our height went hand in hand with growth in our responsibilities. The Maharashtra project and the Gondhar dance performed that year will live long in our memories. Mrs. Solomon, Mrs. Gonjari, Mr. Bhaskaran, Mrs. Shinde, Mrs. Purekar, and everyone involved in the same. We thank you, teachers, for 2 very memorable years in our school life. Finally, we came to class 9 and class 10, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of every Bishopite present here when I say that the last 2 years were the best years of our lives. I have many people to thank, and so let me start off with my class teacher, Mrs. Ohol, and our English literature teacher, Mrs. Ghosh. Without you, ma'am, As You Like It would have been alien to us. The fact that it is still alien to us is a different matter altogether. I highly doubt whether we would have had better biology and physics teachers than Mr. Kanodia, Mrs. Varghese, and Mrs. Borde respectively. Mrs. Borge has been with us since class 8, and Hindi has been a scoring subject for many of us because of her. Miss Sheikh, Mrs. Sarode, Mrs. Abraham, and Mrs. Venkateshwaran. Only we know how much we have troubled you this year, ma'am. We can only thank you for having tolerated us and for having borne with us. I hope you accept our sincere apologies on this occasion. Mrs. Dastidar and Mrs. Singh made me enjoy history and geography, the 2 subjects which I greatly despised previously. I thank our PT teachers as well for making the PT period a period which everyone looked forward to during the week. Thank you, Mr. Young, Mr. Shinde, and Mr. Kamble. Mr. Kamble, may God never punish you, sir. I'm sure only Mr. Kamble and my classmates must have understood what I just said. For all this and much more, we, the students of class 10, thank you, teachers. Thank you also to Sanjay, Mustafa, Victor, the 2 ice cream vendors, and the canteen uncle as well. We will surely miss all those vada paos, kathi rolls, and the spring rolls. I don't think, but I am sure that I speak on behalf of every Bishopite when I say that in Mr. Edwin, we had the best headmaster we could possibly have had. I thank you, sir, for allowing me the honor of giving the speech. Mr. Fries, our principal, who has given us so many opportunities and facilities to develop ourselves and be better human beings. The exchange program with the South Korean students will be an everlasting memory for me, and for that I thank you, sir. And last but not the least, I thank all my classmates for their support and for being there for me through thick and thin. I hope that all of us will be an asset to our country and not a liability. I'm extremely sorry if I have not mentioned anyone in my speech. Know that you too were responsible for making all our school lives enjoyable. Bishops has taught me to be self-confident. It has motivated me to work towards the goals which I have set. We have learned the lessons of life within the walls of this classroom. It has taught me to strive to be the best in whatever I do. To sum it up, I would like to read a line from our school song which we all are familiar with. We honor our school that taught us how to live, to be thorough, to be true, and to be men. It is on such occasions that the true meaning of the lines of our school song dawn upon us. My friends, time flies so very fast and we are about to depart. Although there may be some of us who will yet be together as we go through college, I feel that for most of us, it is indeed a parting word. I encourage all of you to set goals for yourself and to strongly stand for something that can give your life direction and purpose. Don't be dismayed at goodbyes. A farewell is necessary before we can meet again. And meeting again after moments or a lifetime is certain for those who are friends. As one of the students of the 149th batch of the Bishop School Camp, I promise all the teachers that our batch will not let you down in the upcoming board exams and wish all my friends the very best of luck. Thank you and good evening to all of you.
Thank you very much, Sun Club. I'm sure all that you've said over here has touched a number of hearts, and I'm sure you mean every word that you said, and even the applause, I'm sure that was very heartfelt. Thank you, boys. We now have Kulprit Sahani, another class 10 student who would like to talk to us this evening. I beg your pardon. Mr. Sahani, are we bringing you back to class 10? Where's Mr. Sahani?